G'day, what's going on, guys? Hope that you're well. First live for 2025, so absolutely pumped. Supercoach is now officially open. I know that lots of us have had the Supercoach Gold, have been playing around with our sides for the last month, but very, very exciting for the rest of the community. You can now jump on board, create your side. So it is all happening, plenty of preseason news. And to be honest, I've had that many DMs lately that I just can't keep up with it. So I thought might be a good way just to do a bit of a live. Spilsy's going to join us in about 10, 15 minutes, I think, and answer as many questions as possible. Say g'day for the first time this year and, try to answer as many questions as we can. So I've already got a couple on here. Scotty, how are you, mate? Always good to see you, buddy, and great to have you in the Regulars League as well this year, champion. So I need to get my screen a little bit bigger here. Thinking on a plan to not start Oliver, Shearer and Day. Thoughts on it to save trades to get must premiums and mid-price players. To not start Oliver, Shearer and Day. I don't mind, mate, if you don't want to, but I'm pretty big on Piggy at the moment. You don't have to, but I know that they're three pretty popular picks at the moment. I'd be going with one of them, I think. You could go with two, but I think three may be pushing it a little bit, Causa. But a lot of water to go under the bridge, I think, bud. Next one here, T. How are you, T? Do you think a content creator will ever win the 50K one day? Oh, I don't think it'll be me, mate. Maybe Janeth. I think Janeth will have a red hot crack one day. But look, it's the dream. I know some great people that have won it, JP and M, and obviously Jovan from last year. So three ripping people, really well-deserved winners. But I hope so, mate. There's some great minds out there, plenty better than me. But I hope so. It'll be really cool to see that one day, buddy. Andrew, how are you, buddy? Honoured to be part of your Regulars League this year. Great to have you in it, buddy. Coleman rumored to miss opening round on round one. Is he now on a void? Yeah, it's a tricky one, mate, because I've got a couple of track watches up there, and I'm getting different news at the moment. So, look, Danny Daly came out a little while ago and said he's definitely on track to play preseason games, which to me meant fine for round one or round zero. But I'm just not sure at the moment, mate. So I think the best thing to do is basically have a team with him in your structure and then just have a plan B in case he doesn't look good. But really got to listen out to the news for that one, mate. G'day, H. How are you, mate? Yeah, really struggling with structure at the moment. 3 primo defenders is the issue. Well, you can see my screen at the moment there, H. These are pretty much just the guys that and not even the rookies, to be honest, but guys that I'm locked into sort of premium-wise. Structure, I'm just not too sure. You know, I'd like to have an extra one down back, particularly if Kitty isn't great. Mills doesn't really work out. I'm not sure on McKercher, Matty Roberts types, and I don't really want a third premium in. It would probably be Jordan Clark, Nick Martin as a pod possibly, but don't like his buy. So structure's a difficult one at the moment, but just have those pool of players, mate, that you're interested in. And, plan A, B, C, and D, buddy. Jace, g'day, Jace. Good to see you, buddy. Stewie, mate, g'day. Stewie, how are you, dude? If you see a little symbol there, like Stewie's got that S-looking symbol, means he's a member of the channel. Appreciate you, Stewie. How are you, legend? Great to have a live. Yeah, look, mate, as I said, my DMs have been smashed lately, and there's no way I've been able to get to all of them. So I thought I'll do a live, and hopefully some of the people that may have sent me DMs that I haven't got to yet can ask a few questions and all the rest. It'll be great to see you, buddy. Baloo Bagger, how are you, champion? G'day, mate. Have a good one. You too, mate. Great to catch up with you at the Dr. Supercoach catch-up as well, buddy. Doodles, now, I'll tell you what, we've got this season guide going at the moment, and we are extremely privileged to have this great man, AFL Doodles, do some original artwork for us. He's an absolute gun. So if you're not following him, make sure that you do on X. Hope your family's going well too, brother. Appreciate you, mate. James Holman, g'day, mate. G'day, love the content. Have an open league. I can join. Absolutely, James. What I'll do, mate, when I get to most of these comments and Spilsy joins up, I'll get Spills to take over for a sec, and I'll get the open code on the screen for you, buddy. But I absolutely do have an open league, mate. Cash leagues, open cash leagues, prison leagues, heaps of those, mate. I think I'll most likely do a separate video and keep all the leagues to that, so you've got all the info in the one video, mate. Andrew Harlan, g'day, mate. Hey, dear, should I keep Nick Dacos and do I go for Daniel or Parker? You're awesome, mate. I appreciate you, mate. Really kind words, buddy. Look, I'm off Dacos at the moment. Originally, I had him in my side along Bond there as those two main pillars in the midfield, but after the news about his feet, I'm a little bit off at the moment. Given he's got that bye, we're paying a hefty price for him, and a fit Dacos, I think it's worth it, but at that price, mate, I'm staying away for now and maybe looking at him as an upgrade target. Daniel or Park, I think Daniel by the straight, mate. I think he's an absolute must-have with his current role. You could go Parker. I'm not saying don't go Parker, but if you're choosing between the two, particularly with the money that you're saving, I'm on Daniel 100% there, buddy. But appreciate you, man. Hope that you're well. Jace, I heard Jack Silvani will definitely be this imperfect with Nick Newman out. I've heard a little bit. I reckon there's a few typos there, Jace, obviously. But with Nick Newman out, I know that Ollie Hollins and Sam Doherty and Sada getting a bit of a mention now. And Jack Silvani, the only news I've sort of heard around Jack Silvani is the fact that maybe he could be the backup ruckman to TDK. Not everyone agrees with that, though. But, yeah, that's probably the news I've heard there, buddy. Goat 13. Hey, man, Sarong or Brayshaw as M2 behind Bond can fit either and want to throw mid with that lovely buy. Yeah, I'm absolutely the same, mate. I'm definitely going to start with at least one of the two. I've floated with starting two, but it's Brayshaw, as you can see. Can you see on my screen at the moment? It's too little for me to even see. I'm just looking at the comments. So, yeah, it's Brayshaw at the moment. He's a great man. Spilsy.
Hello, DR. What's
good to see you, mate? Looking pretty fresh there, man.
Feeling fresh, mate. Absolutely ready to go. I cannot wait.
Beautiful. Now, I'm just going to... We've got a bit of a discussion here from Goat, mate, about Sarong v. Brayshaw. Goat, the great thing about this, mate, if you decide to go with the season guide this year, we've got so many 50-50 head-to-head popular matchups. It's not funny. And this is one of the main ones there that we actually write about. But you can see on my screen at the moment that I've currently got Brayshaw, if that gives you a little bit of an insight. But who knows? It could also be Sarong that joins him. I just think that Brayshaw's got a little bit more value attached to him, particularly with his start to last season, battling through injury. I don't think that his CBA percentage affects him as much. So he can afford to still lose some of those minutes, play more on the outside, and still score decently. So in a nutshell, I'm going Brayshaw at the moment. But I think both were really good selections for you, man. All right. Supercoach After Dark. Hello, bloke. Good to see you back in action. Do you know who this could be, Spilsy? One of my good mates who's enjoys a drink. He enjoys loving life. One of my best mates. You know him pretty well. He's starting up some of your own stuff, I think, this year, Spilsy. So got any idea?
Around it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, good to see you, Brendos. Good to see you, bloke. Spilsy, though, tell us, mate, what have you been up to for those that haven't been around you or haven't seen the video you put out with Shorty the other day, mate? What have you been up to? You been doing much Supercoach or other live things?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, obviously BBL crashed and burnt pretty quickly. So given that, so which is fine. It's one of those things where it does. It's just whatever. Like I'm not as passionate as AFL, but just sort of firing up the classic now. And yeah, did a podcast with Shorty last Sunday, and that was really good. That was enjoyable. We just had a bit of banter and went over each other's sides. So yeah, good way to start the season. And it's probably a little like the least I've touched my team over the off season, which is great. Like couple of adjustments here and there, but feeling ready, mate. Refreshed and ready to charge in 2025. But it's coming quickly. We're only about 40 days away, so we're really raring to go. So that should be good, man. Looking forward
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I tell you what, with all this stuff I've been doing for the guide and this planning for pre-season, I'm getting super coached out already, and it's just open to the public, mate.
I can imagine.
Nick, how are you, man? The other man, Matty Roberts. Is he really going to be a boom? Everyone says his Cox's love child. Now, I'm not sure if this man is actually in the chat. He usually is. He comments or leaves a comment on every one of my videos. The old Rod Todd, shout out to Roddy. He sent me a message on X the other day, and he'd actually asked my bank detail. He said, look, I'm prepared to pay you, mate, for a player profile. I'm that desperate to find out about what you think about Matt Roberts, mate. So, look, at the moment, Nick, if this is anything to go by, he's not in my side, but he is in Janeth the Professor's side. He's a big fan of Matty Roberts.
Did see that, yeah. I did have a look at that.
Yeah, well, he is coming on for a team reveal very, very soon. He's on a camp at the moment, so he's away at the moment, the great man. That's why he's not on tonight. But he's a big fan of Matty Roberts, and when you see his team reveal, he'll be going through the Roberts selection. I think this is your ultimate boom or bust pick. I think he could be the sort of bloke that just sits there at the price, potentially a little bit unders, or could absolutely go nuts.
Bloody terrible price, DR. It's not the sort of price that I'm willing to really muck around with. Like, did put in a really great last month's work last year, but before then, very small sample size. But he's shown the scoring abilities, no dramas at all, and the ceiling's crazy high. He's got a 161 in his system, so I can see why like people are appealing. But look, the beauty about this one is he does play round 0, so we'll get a look at him there and assess the situation. And if he just goes off with a boom, he might be one you pull the trigger on, but it is an awkward price. He's kind of, let's be honest, the Ashcroft of the defence. You're almost paying for a keeper. So
that's a good point.
That's the
Ashcroft of defence. I like, mate. He's no Norm Smith medalist. Let's not get this wrong. Yet. But you are very much right, mate, with the price, that early buy as well, looking for that real breakout sort of contender. It's a very good comparison, not obviously player-wise, but price-wise, and what we're looking for out of both of them this year, mate. So, look, Nick, definitely relevant, mate, but we'll need to be really certain, I think, if we're selecting at that price. Causa likes a team without the Oliver Day Ashcrofts, want to save the most trades possible, have the mids who will score well and can't get to them early. Yeah, look, the only trouble I'm finding, Causa, is, I'll be honest with you, there's not a heap of premium midfielders that I like. There's a group of about 5 that I've been playing with, but apart from that, it's that mid-price mix that I am interested in. In saying that, I hate selecting mid-prices in my midfield. I always try to avoid it when possible, but there's some really nice breakout contenders, full and premiums. There's more than you can poke a stick at around the Ashcroft, Parrish, Day, Shearer, below them, Peatling. There's so many options this year. So I'm not committing to anything at the moment, cause as you can see with my team, I've not been very committal at all at the moment. But these are mainly the blokes that I'm confident on at the moment. Spilsy, who's give us one mid-pricer in the midfield? If I said you could only select one player between the price of 300 to 500k in your midfield, just one player, who you hot on the most? Who are you going with, son?
It's got to be Oliver, isn't it? I mean,
Clary.
He's a bit different because everyone's going to own him, and he seems to be moving pretty well. Like just before I joined, I was watching like a George team update, and he said apparently Oliver's been training pretty well, and so I think it gets a lot better before it gets worse with Oliver. He's bottomed out. Peatling I really like too. I think you put a positive case for both of them, but they're the only 2 that I'm interested in, mate, at this point in time. So. Yeah, we'll see. I think you got to be careful in the mid prices in the midfield. It's a dicey position. It's one you don't want to butcher because there was a couple last year that definitely owe me an apology. So,
history suggests that it's such a dangerous game, isn't it, mate? Mid prices anywhere really, but particularly in midfield. Those 8 positions on field are like absolute gold. So if you're selecting them as keepers, be very, very careful. Stepping stones are different. But lots of the names we've discussed over the pre-season in the midfield at that price, as you mentioned before with your Ashcroft type, you're most likely looking at them as keepers. But I'll tell you, I've done that much research on Will Ashcroft lately that there is a world, Spills, I'm not going to go into it now. This is a different chat. There is a world that with fixture, etc., you could almost use him as a stepping stone which is a very different conversation, very small percentage, but I've been thinking, mate. I've been thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Cause hearing that Ryan Gardner could be the backup ruck over Sam Darcy this year, so English could be better off this year. Yeah, I've heard a bit of talk about Timmy English. He was a burn man for some last year. We know my man H and many, many others just have almost put him on the never again list. But remember that average was at 128 odd season average. This bloke can do it.
I'm not interested at all.
Is this, Spills, is this an overreaction, do you think? So this is obviously with the news that Jamara is most likely going to be out and all the rest. So there's a lot of talk now that all of a sudden Darcy plays a lot more forward. He was planning on playing a little bit more ruck, or that's what people were thinking. Now they're saying that, well, English gets more minutes. Look, I'm not too sure. Could a Davidson, a rookie in our forward line who's currently in my team, could he sort of
Maybe
fill
the
that
guy.
void and things could almost stay the same? I don't know how highly they rate him, what his talent's really like, but I don't think this is an absolute given all of a sudden that English's ruck minutes increase. I think they could potentially look to keep that plan and look for other ways to fill that Jamara void. I don't think it necessarily needs to be Darcy. It could be. And look, I do expect Darcy to now probably play a little bit more time forward than he was planned to. But yeah, I don't know about Timmy English. He's definitely on the watch list, and I'm not saying he's not a good pick. You know, over, say, a TDK, there's no sort of Pito on that side. He's always going to be the number one option. You know, over, say, a Shrek, he's got better durability. So he is a bit of a safer pick compared to some of the other rucks that we're looking at. Have you got any quick thoughts on English, or you're just basically, as you said, just not on him?
Yeah, it's a line through him. I think I think he pulled that season out of nowhere. Even when he is playing good, it's super frustrating because it feels like he should be playing a lot better than what he is. He's just that soft of a footballer. Probably a bit dependent on being
giving him a drive by, yeah. Geez, not just a no, I'm not going with him. He's soft. He's this. He's that.
I remember DR. I never owned him either.
Timmy.
Imagine the ones that did own him. You know,
this is coming as a non-owner from last year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, and I'm just a mutual, and that's how I feel. So, do me a favor, go ask George what he reckons of Tim English, and get back to me because I know he's like that's real 10-foot pole territory, and I just reckon the avenue for rucks is so competitive, and like Gorn's getting a bit old. It's still going to be a great pick, I reckon. Like I think Cherry's the real man. Like DeConing's a great option. Then you got Matty Flynn as well, who should get a bit of a run. So I think there's a lot of rucks coming through. So I reckon there's just not enough positions to muck around with. So yeah, if you want to pick a ruck, you better be someone that you're sort of confident in. Like I'm probably doing Timmy Boy a bit dirty there, but he's just someone I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into, to be honest with you, DR. I'm backing in the big boys.
I'm a little bit the same, to be honest, mate, in regards to English. In regards to not putting thought in, I'm not saying he's bloody soft like you. I'm not completely running the poor bloke over with a bus. But, people are trying to sway me, mate. They're swaying me into this 3 premium ruck setup. And at this point in time, I don't like it. Another discussion. We'll see if someone...
I actually thought he was all right until I watched him play against Essendon like earlier last year when we done him at Marvel. I reckon that we put the double ruck on him. I think it was Draper and Goldstein, I'm pretty sure. And I think he scored, I think it was like 50-something Supercoach in that game. And I was really close to bringing him in. And I was like, thank goodness for that. So
good
I saw that live and I'm like, this bloke just got stomped on, you know. So since then, I'm pretty like, you know, it's back in Cherry, mate. Cherry over English every day of the week. He's the opposite. He's just going to play with all the guts in the world. So
yeah,
we'll see. It's interesting line.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Scotty, is Butters way overs? Was all his midfield teammates injured at some stage during the year? Zach, the main bloke. Look, there were certainly injuries going through there, mate, as we know, and it could be a good point. But the easiest way to sort of research this sort of stuff, mate, and this is a tip for anyone else out there that's asking for themselves, go to DFS, look up the CBAs for 2024, go to Port Adelaide, and what you'll be able to notice, and I was doing this with the Dogs and the Lions when I was doing some Ashcroft research the other day, you can actually see what happens to the CBAs when particular blokes are out of the side. So you can see who really fills that void. You can look for common patterns there as well. So look, at the moment, Butters has been in and out. He's definitely one of the 5 I'm looking at starting. Is he overpriced? Yeah, I think he's a little bit overpriced myself.
I think you pay for what you get. You sort of the definition of like an Uber mid without the buy. Like I think he and Bont, they're very expensive. I might be crazy, but I'm actually running with both of them at the moment from the money that I banked. Bit of a preview. I've done nothing to my side like from the one that I had with Shorty, but I've basically gone with the money I've earned to go Ashcroft down to Peatling. I've gotten I can't remember, I think it was Flanders to Butters, which wasn't much in it at all. So yeah, just a little bit of a inside what I've done, but I like them both. Oh no, it was Flanders to Bottom Pally, so obviously a lot more expensive, but I just like the Uber mids with the friendly buy, good easy VCs, but
it's
the major squad, you know.
One thing to take into consideration, and you probably don't want to wait this long to get a buzz into your side, but that round 12 buy, it's a tough one. So I'm even looking, your Horn Francis isn't in my side at the moment. Butters is currently out of the side. I'm trying to ease up on that buy as well. It's really tough to get a good mix there. But look, I think Butters is a fantastic selection. He's a fine selection. You lock him in and pretty much know that what you're going to get. Could be those lower games, as we expect with most players. But I think he's fine to start, Scotty. But I also think it's fine not to start him, if that helps you, buddy. T, Heaney as a mid-starter or just better options in the midfield? I'm not keen personally on paying up for him, mate. Now, I have heard from some preseason reports that he has been playing through the midfield. But looking at that grand final last year, I think Sydney avoided a couple of really dangerous forward options. You know, they've got Papley there, who's a star. Hayward can play some good games, but Heaney's just so dangerous. I think he's that X factor there, and they've got enough players that can run through that midfield. I don't know what his split's going to be like, and you could say that obviously he's a really dangerous forward, but for me, Heaney's certainly an upgrade option rather than a starting pick. Spills, any difference there, bud? Or
there's one red flag that stands out like quite significantly, and he'd be such a massive pod with an early buy. It's kind of like why I'm not picking Josh Dunkley, because I really want Josh Dunkley because he's never getting tagged. We saw what tagging did to the game last year. Every star midfielder in the game was getting a tag by those 4 or 5 sides that did it. And I think Dunkley was that guy that just always flew under the radar. That's why I like Brayshaw in addition to Sarong. But I think that's where it's a bit tough. So Heaney I think he's in about 5 or 6% of sides. If he's in your side, you know, it depends what your buy looks like. But he's just that one player that might hurt you pretty early. But I like him for a bit of an upgrade target further down the track because he doesn't really present much value either. He's kind of maxed out at what I reckon he is anyway.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think last year when we were selecting our starting sides, he was underpriced. It was his first time that he was playing that full-time midfield role. So a little bit of a different scenario starting the great man this year. But would you love to have him in your side? Absolutely. But I just think he's more of an upgrade option. Fraser, thoughts on the doc? With Newman down, he could retake that general role and therefore could be the 2025 Nick Martin. Look, I mentioned earlier on, Fraser, that there's 3 blokes who I'm hearing, you know, who are starting to come into a little bit more relevance. I know George is big on Ollie Hollins. There is this man, Sam Doherty, as well as Adam Sard. Now, it's probably Doherty and Hollins who I'm a little bit keener on. The issue with Doherty is that I love the bloke and a little bit spewing on him when he left the Lions and they gave us bugger all for him, but he's a good man. He's a brave man, and hats off to him. One of the best stories in the history of the AFL, his comeback. But given the fact he's dealt with so much adversity, had those health problems at his age, it does worry me. It does worry me. If he was available as a defender, maybe a bit of a different story. And in saying that, I know that we can almost lock him in to obtaining that DPP, that defensive mid DPP, when it comes to your round 6, 7, like Nick Martin, as you mentioned. So, look, if he was a younger doc, I'd be a lot keener. I see a word where it could work, but at the age, I'm a little bit
He's a mid only, isn't he? DR mid only. Sam
mid
Doherty.
only at the moment. Spills, yeah, looking to
So
get DPP. Obviously, if he plays a role, but it's an if.
That's 6 weeks away in season. How precious is the midfield? And particularly, you've got like 2 or 3 Ubers that you probably want to lock in, I reckon. Clayton Oliver's a lock. Peatling's knocking on the door for being a lock. And look at the draft we've just had. We've got some of the best midfield rookies coming in, and there's only 8 spots up for grabs on field. I think the last thing I'd be doing is grabbing someone with so much uncertainty, a bit of upside, and definitely going to gain his DPP. But it's a long time to wait for that. Like Supercoach goes quick. So I don't think I've got the cojones for it, man. I don't even know what he's priced either. Like, what's the doc floating around?
It's under, I think it's high fours, mid to high fours. But
so that's that awkward keeper territory where with Oliver, he's all right because he's got a good buy and he provides good early on field for us, and we can always flip him. We can do the same with Doherty, but I feel like he couldn't run with both of them. It'd be like, okay, Oliver, he's got an injury, he's in doubt for round 1. Hypothetically, of course, that's where you can start going, all right, what about a Hollands or a Doherty? But at the moment, it's a very, if he had defence DPP already, it'd be, with the Kadeen Coleman news, it'd be one of those ones where you could really consider and watch him. But at the moment, yeah, way too valuable in midfield, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we'll be having Damon on from Supercoach Edge for our video team previews, as well as Janet's right up in our season guide, mate. So you can't get much better than that, can you?
100%. Great, man.
Jay, Spillsy 100% looks like Toby McLean.
That's a good call, man. That's actually not too bad.
I have never thought. Do you know what? The other player who's been linked to is Sardis from Essendon. Bit of a larger action there. I've heard that a couple of times. So maybe a baby of Sardis and Toby McLean. Sardis and McLean's baby, Spills.
I think I've copped a bit of Sarong as well, but I don't know, mate.
He's putting tickets on yourself now, mate, aren't you?
Look at this. No, I'm just saying.
Bailey Smith too, have you, mate?
Most generic haircut ever. Like every man's run the same operation on top, so it's pretty like. There's probably a lot of footy players I look like, to be honest, with what I'm wearing like a Giants top as well. So yeah,
pretty much anyone with a good rig. Let's be honest, anyone with a good rig, they Spills look like, mate, in the AFL.
I'm not copping that.
Steve-O, how are you, brother? What's going on, mate? Oh, hang on. He's
good, man. You got rid of his question. What are you doing?
What are your trades for
I've got no idea.
Steve, man, it's so unlucky with bloody Prather and Wardenberg, mate. I don't know, Steve. That's why I was going for about an hour. I was going to finish up at about 7:15 because I need an extra 15 minutes, mate. So just for now, just quickly, I've gone, which I hate doing, I've gone Cal to PJC, and it's just a weak play because I'm so worried about Armstrong. You got no idea, Spills. Just sit back for the next.
Couldn't say any basketball player if I tripped over him on the street.
Mate, Steve is right up there, mate. Top 7 at the moment. And the other one, mate, is Prather, because they reckon he's playing. But you know what happens when they say they're playing? He sits on the bench and then does nothing. And then you're like, damn, it's really a single play. So I've gone him to Tanner Groves. I think Groves is almost a must-have this week with Cairns and a couple of question marks on their players, mate. So that's what I've done, but I'm not happy, Steve-O. Good luck, mate. I'm absolutely rooting for you, brother. H, g'day, Spills. Great to see you. Big man. Great man.
Thanks, H. Appreciate it, dude. Hope you have a good year.
Yeah, legend H. Been chatting with him a lot lately. Bo plays, g'day, DR. Heard Daniel maybe was taking kick-ins. North matched him today. Good now after a minor hammy issue. Thoughts on Kane Farrell being an option? Daniel's a must-have, in my opinion, mate. Unless he's not fit, get him in your side. Look, Farrell, we really need more info on who's actually taking that main distributing role. Is it going to be Sin? Is it going to be Evans? Is it going to be Farrell? If it is Farrell, then yes, I think could be a really sneaky option, mate.
Gotta watch him.
You do, Spills. It's really hard to answer these questions now. But is he on my watch list? Yes, as a mid-price. He's absolutely on my watch list.
I mean, fair piece of the pie Houston had in that back six.
Absolutely, there is, Spills.
Who's taking all the kick-ins? Like, who's rebounding? Like, it's there's a lot of uncertainty because they're very tall. They've got a lot of interceptors and like lockdowns, but who's actually doing the run and carry, distributing? Going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hotly contested position, and I know there's a few boys in the content creator ranks that are pretty keen on Farrell at the moment, but lots of water to go under the bridges. You'll hear me say plenty of times about a number of players today. Andrew, hey there, sorry to bother you again. No worries at all, man. I have Leo Lombard in my team. Do you think he'll play or not? Look, I'm not sure whether or not he's going to play, but
I don't think his numbers are too crash hot.
Nah, that's what I was going to mention, Spills. Look, Janeth has done some great research in our guide this year, mate. Looking at his numbers, and the great thing about what Janeth's done is he's got all of the Coates League numbers, VFL, Sandful, Waffle. So whenever these young fellas, these new draftees have played in any of those leagues, he's actually got their score. It's not a Supercoach score. It's actually a fantasy score because they don't do Supercoach points for it. But he's done the absolute best research you can do. And without giving too much away, his scores are not that pretty. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at it. It's fantasy versus Supercoach. If they're more contested possessions, then fantastic. But if the kicking efficiency isn't terrific, then that's going to bring his score down a little bit. So at the price, I'd rather pay up an extra 20 odd K for a Jagger Smith, potentially an Ashcroft type, or else go with someone like a Sheldrick, who I'm pretty hot on at the moment after the last week or two. So, no Leo Lombard.
There's plenty of options. Like Smiley's been dominating. Like I heard things about Draper, Jagger's a lock. Sullivan even could be playing off half back. I mean, there's so many rookies this year, Mel.
The trouble is, right, I'm hearing it's like from people all these people are there, right, watching training. I get these different reports through to me. This guy's looking fantastic, a lock. A different bloke about the same guy, not looking too great, not moving too well. I'm thinking, well, hang on. What do I do here? So, I'll tell you what, this is just for everyone, I think, a good strategy, right? For now, I would be selecting as many of these high-priced rookies as you can.
Yeah,
because the great thing is you can always go down. You can't go up. So many of these guys are looking red hot just before we need to lock our teams in. It's very, very hard if you're full of 113, 119K, 99K blokes on your bench to then go, I really need to go up to get these blokes. You're then chopping and changing premiums, making rash decisions. So for me, I think it's such a good plan to start high with your rookies when you can, unless you're super keen on a cheaper bloke, and that's fine. But that would be my general advice when you're selecting your rookies on your bench. So I'm really trying to get like an Elijah Sardis at least on your bench, even with the Lindsay, if possible. Then working with different structures where I'm going a little bit cheaper on the bench if I'm able to do that. That way you can get maybe a higher mid-pricer up to a lower price premium that you're more confident in. So that's some good advice, I think, for anyone.
Good problem to have.
Starting the game. Oh, it is, mate. Yeah. Absolutely. Great problem to have.
Like I've got Smiley and Sheldrick literally on my mid-bench. So, and Kako in the forward line. So I'm willing to cop out
that's
a bit of playing. Yeah. This is a magnificent draft. This is where the cash is coming from. So,
mate, all of a sudden, I don't know, Don Brew gets picked up from the Dogs, comes at 99K, looks like he's getting around one berth and fits somehow into that midfield. Then we can go, great, okay. There's an extra 80K in the bank. I go down. I can actually take that 80K even into the season. There's no need to spend that now because I was happy with everything else there. I'm just swapping a rookie spot. So, Scotty says you were awesome with shorty spills. Good on you, Scotty. You did a great job, man.
I really appreciate it.
Iconic, hey, dude. Hey, guys, love your work. Appreciate it, man. What are we thinking about Will Day? Got a big write-up about Will
boy.
Day.
This is Shorty's boy, DR. He's
Shorty's boy, you say.
Moment, so.
Look, I was with a great man, SDS, watching Will Day live at the Hawthorn Brizzy game last year. It was when he was first come back from injury, and I said to Steve at the time, I said, mate, this guy does everything. He is an absolute gun. I'm going to lock him in next year. Believe me, I'm going to lock him in. There's so many pros, so many cons. A couple of the cons, as we know, it's his durability. He finds it difficult to stay out in the park. And I heard a report just today, and I don't know what to take from this, but he did spend a little bit of time deep forward. So similar to what Jason Horne-Francis does. Now, I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know. Could that be good because he could simply rest there and his time on ground stays up because he can simply rest for. I'm not too sure. But yes, I really do like Will Day. I think there's some great things about him. Has been in my side, I'm going to say 50% of the preseason.
Really? I
Yeah.
haven't had him once, but I think I'm overlooking him because he's just at that awkward price, man.
Look, he
It's
is,
like you
Bills.
want to
He
be a
is.
premium, but he's knocking on the door. Got the buy. It is a good buy. Only shares it with Essendon. And how many Dons players you're running with? Probably just Kako. So it's a friendly
Yeah.
buy, but it's still a
Mm,
buy. So and it's the midfield, mate. It's so tough. Like, would you? I just couldn't fit him. And I'd probably almost lean towards Ashcroft. I think they're both really similar players. But what I saw in the finals from Wilbur was pretty bloody magnificent. So they're really hard to divide, honestly. Both
they are,
elite.
mate. There's so many
It
big
is tough.
decisions. If you get
All day is
these,
tough.
if you get these one or two selections right over those that don't, geez, you're going to have a much better start. You're going to have a great head start over those that get it wrong, man. Sardis Draper and Allen going for the one spot at M9. Yeah. Well, again, heard good reports about Sardis, good and bad about Draper, and mostly good about Allen H. So all good guys to have on the watch list, I think, brother. Lethal, love the content, lads. Thanks, man. Does Coleman being out maybe change your backline structure, or do you go another option like Sin Miller type? Miller, I would not be surprised, mate, to see him step on a pebble on the way into training, just walking into training with his bag over his shoulder, step on a pebble and he's out for half the season. It's just, mate,
He's glass in
this
you.
bloke promises
He's
everything
so
every
fragile.
pre-season, but I'm just going, nah. And do you know what? If he turns out to be some sort of a wonderful premium, I'll go, well, hats off to those that went with him. I'm just not going to waste a trade. Hope he goes well for Adelaide supporters because he's so unlucky. He's a great talent, plenty of X factor, can give them a lot of run out of that back line. But how often is he going to stay on the park? History suggests not that often for me, mate. In regards to structure, yeah, it does a little bit because with particular structures, I was relying on Colin being a solid D4 option for me, along with maybe Mills at D3, but I'm getting cold feet on both at the moment. So I'm playing around with a lot of different structures. So yeah, potentially
I reckon it's one or the other. You replace him with either a rookie or you drop a primo elsewhere and turn into like a Jordan Clark type, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not going.
yeah,
There's no one in that price range except Mills for a bit more expensive, and then Travalia for a bit more less. To where I own both of them, but there's no one in that bracket at all where I go, yeah, not too bad. I think
yeah, yeah,
so that injury for me, that's going to disrupt a bit of my structure. Something up the ground is going to have to go because I'm not comfortable. Sort of, there's no like for like. It's a really awkward price. But
all
what do you
right.
do? Carnage.
Now I've looked down. I can't believe how fast and thick and fast these comments are coming in.
How many we got? I've never kept up with it. But
mate, I don't even know.
how
I'm just
popular
going
are you,
down.
Dio? Are you
All right,
fan
Spills.
favorite?
We're going to do a bit of a
Yeah.
turbo here. I only say this, right,
Oh
because I've
no,
got some
it's
big
the
decisions.
mailbag all over again.
I mean, it is a mailbag all over, right? I've got big decisions right now. Not as big as Steve because he's obviously the man. He's in the top 6 or 7 in the NBL at the moment. I'm inside the top 500, around 450 odd.
Whoa.
So I'm trying to keep that top 500 rank, man. I'm taking it half seriously. So I need to work. I need 15 minutes to get my head around these trades because the blokes I'm trading out are playing tonight. There's dramas in NBL Supercoach Spills. So let's turbo, buddy. All right. Stewie Mack, thoughts on Luke Ryan? Pierce had a main impact on his score. Yeah, thoughts. Now, great buy, great history. If you ask me, is he going to stay in the top 6 this year? I think he's got a super, super chance. I'm just liking a little bit more Jack Sinclair and Sheasel at the moment, mate. Probably Clark over
you
him
go on all though, because you just lock and load if you
look. You can like I'm happy. Like I am not saying. Look, this just personally in my side. I think he's fine because he's that sort of bloke, Spills, that generally has a really good start. People go, damn, need to jump on him. And that's when he can start to slow up a little bit and start to screw with your mind. So, yeah, I think he's probably one that you can absolutely start. But yeah, competition with that same boy, isn't there, with Sinclair in particular and your Jordan Clark. So, yeah, any of the three, I think are really solid options, mate. Jace, starting Cripper this year. Well, I tell you what, mate, going to be a massive, massive pod for you. All the best of luck with it, buddy. We might delve into that with the Carlton preview. Ice English is soft. Scotty is with you, Spills there. A drive-by from Scotty.
Good great minds think alike, they say.
Geez, here's English. Yeah, cop it a whack from H as
well. I told you, DR. You thought I was being harsh. I didn't even own him.
Poor old Timmy. Kynan Savage is starting Hayden Young, breakout year. I know a couple of coaches that are as well.
Like that, yeah.
Hayden Young, Brayshaw, Sarong. The good thing is, to be quite honest, I really don't think you can go too wrong with either of them. Great buy, but could be anything, mate. Absolutely could be anything. Corsar not picking English. Another one that's given a drive-by to Timmy. Don't like the 3 ruck setup either. I'll tell you why I don't like it in a nutshell. I want to go shopping for that flex. Now, I want the ruck in the flex position, but I want to go shopping. I'm not confident in myself at this stage to say, well, these guys are the 3 top averaging rucks for the year. Lock them in. I want to go shopping and just work out, well, who is that guy that I absolutely want? Mikey Higginson. Hey, Mike, I might be wrong. Feels like it's been a while that a Geelong mid has scored a big. In saying that, what do you think Bailey Smith scores in that Geelong structure, as they do share CBAs most in the AFL? Yeah, look, even when his CBAs were pretty high at the Dogs, we never saw anything too elite. But I think one thing, and I could just be making up things here, Mike, but one thing that we've really got to take into account, and you're not asking this question, this is a different side of it, but I just think mentally, the mental side of the game is huge. I think he'll be a lot happier there. I think he's got his mind really focused at the moment. In regards to structure, well, I think that you can't start to rely too heavily on your Dangerfield anymore. Surely he's got to be phased out a little bit. This bloke is coming into his absolute prime. So I think if anyone's going to get high CBAs, surely it's got to be Bailey Smith. They were super keen on him, made him promises, and I don't think that promise would be to play half your time on a wing or a half forward flank. So
can I make a bit of a call here, DR?
Go for it, Spilsy.
Smith. I reckon he averages over 100 this year. I'm calling it.
I think that's a half decent call. Breakout year for him. Yeah,
even 105, like it's just his disposal, but the roles there. Yeah. I know he's as fit as he's ever been. Like really coming into his prime. Like he's the same age as me. So I'm 25 years old. So really, like it's prime territory. And yeah, a mental game, mate. Like he wants to get out of the city. You'd be surprised how important that is, particularly in terms of your on-field output in a matter of being happy with where you're based. So I think we see some good things from Baz this year, and I hope he just dominates for Geelong, and he's a player that they want him to be. And more importantly, the player that we want him to be in our forward line. Throw away the key.
It'd be a high-owned pick, so the risk lessens anyway, I think, with Baz. Dev Rob, 121K is his sub-risk, let alone best 22. Mate, I think he'll be loving life if he even gets close to the sub this year. I've talked in other videos. Our depth is absolutely crazy. If
plenty of other options too.
Yeah, look, if I feel sorry for him, but if you can't get a game last year, we've got so many blokes returning, plus Levi, let alone Sam Marshall, who's been impressing. Unfortunately not, mate. I just would not.
Reminds me of Ben Hobbs. Like Shorty asked about him on the pod the other day. Like, where do you think Ben Hobbs is? I think he's way too good of a player not to play AFL, but he's in a stacked midfield. And it's the same as the double ruck combo at the Dockers. Like, it's a bit awkward. Like, you pick Jackson, Darcy, and any R1, but because they're together, it's just really hard. So that's where Dev is. He's not going to crack into that midfield. There's no way.
It's really tough, mate.
Not before Levi.
Oh, well, look, I hope that he does, because I love Dev Rob, but I just think he's going to play VFL all year, mate.
Yeah.
Rod Todd, here's a man I was talking about before that sent through that lovely donation for Matty Roberts. Good on you, Roddy. Hey, DR, just ordered a season guide for me and my bro. Can't wait. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to anyone.
What a good man Roddy Todd is.
Oh, he's a legend. He's a legend.
He's been there since day one. He's like our first subscriber almost.
Yeah, he has been. He's a big fan.
He used to comment on my videos when I'd average like 150 views back in 2020. Like he's OG, this bloke.
It does mean a lot, doesn't it? Those OGs have been supporting you all the way. Good on you, Roddy. And a couple of season guides. It really does go to support us a long way, mate, to be able to produce this content with all the overheads and all the rest. And trying, again, with all the charity stuff that we try to do as well, it is a really nice way of getting the season guide to, help us with the cost of technology and all that sort of stuff. So appreciate you, man. Lethal, hey, man. Hey, lads, love the content. How many picks for the opening round are you willing to start? I'm looking at three myself, tossing up between banking points versus saving trade. Yeah, look, in a nutshell, mate, this is what I will say. When it comes to rookies, I'm not concerned too much. Mid prices, not hugely concerned unless they're really crucial to my structure. So I'm really looking at how many premium picks am I looking to start. And currently, in regards to premium picks, it's an absolute duck egg, mate. None. None. You got to ask yourself, how are these blokes going to make up the points that they lose by not playing that game, by playing one less game?
I've got 0-2 DR.
That's the question that you got to ask yourself. And if you can come up with an answer for that and say, well, this is how I think I can, go for it, mate. But 0 for me at the moment. All right, turbo spills.
How many is 2 mid prices, boys? What has gone on here with DR? Am I tripping? What's going on there? Is his light just turned off and he's been disconnected? Maybe the power went out. I'll try and answer these questions anyway. I don't know if I've got much power from this end, but I think I can see the comments here, and I can. Jay, this is anticlimactic. What the bloody mid prices though? I've got 2 in the midfield with Peatley and Oliver. I think you load up in the forward line just because there's so many good options. But I'd be happy with that. Can I control this? Yeah, I can. So it's just me, guys. Welcome to Supercoach Saw Play. I don't know what the bloody hell is going on with DR there. So you just get a nice upfront view of my big lid. They'll be fine. But BMC 33, great to know. Shano, just looking at his stats, Horn Francis scored under 100 a lot of the games with Butters and Rosie. I watched this on George. He actually elaborated on that in his team update, and basically said like a lot of his scores were just bullshit scores. Like that big one against Port Adelaide was super defensive, high tackle count. So I think Horn Francis is a funny one. He's probably priced a bit over where he's at, but because there's not much going on particularly in the forward line, it's a bit like who else do you pick? But I'm not against like ruling him out completely. At his price, I could live with Smith making 85. As I said before, I reckon he definitely goes 100 plus just because of the role, his mental state. I'm locking him in. Happy face, 100%. Feels weird, sort of hosting this. Just been thrown under the bus here, but I'll do my best. I'm not as smooth as an operator as DR is, but we'll just see how we go. Lucas, Abs just posted a vid going ongoing mid-price madness, 500, 300K through the madness leagues with just 2 or 3 rookies on field. I don't really like that, particularly with the draft that we've just had. Like when you got, like, I alluded to this before, but like Jagger, Ashcroft, Smiley, I mean, there's so many great rookies that, like even like Sheldrick as well, Sullivan, Levi, particularly in the midfield, it's a bit awkward. I don't mind it all around the ground. Forward line's going to be pretty common. But I have to wait and see. Happy face again. Did I just read this one? Reason why I said 85 is Smith becomes my last upgrade most likely. And I know I have base score and keepers, for keepers, most likely to be keepers. I butchered that. I'm sorry. I'm bloody... not the best reader. But I think Smith definitely outdoes that. And if you just lock him in round 0, I think he's pretty fair and reasonable. Now, I'll try and share... I don't know if I can do it from my end, but I wanted to share like DR's team again, just so you have got something to look at other than my head. But if it doesn't bother you, then that's fine. I don't really like cheese. What's wrong with cheese, mate? Give it a chance. What's going on here? So, what are some things you try to do different from last season, Spilsy? All right, so last season I sideways traded Hayden Young, Brody Grundy, like basically primos that actually turned out to be okay. So I guess not being so rash on form at the start of the year and just backing them in, because then there's 2 or 3 trades right there. Right, that would have been handy to have at the back half of the year when you see Houston's not playing in the last round. I've got his donut on field, and it's just looking really dire. So I think, yeah, being a bit more conservative, just because you got nearly 40 trades, it's not fantasy. Like, you still got to respect your primos. Probably avoiding players that have tags coming up too. That's why I've never really been too hot on Nick Dacos, because he's such a tag threat. I've got plantar fasciitis anyway, but that's why I really like Dunkley. Neal's a massive tag threat too. Like, even Sarong over Brayshaw. I think Sarong will cop a lot more attention than Brayshaw will. That's probably why I just have Brayshaw over him, and for the price as well. But they're 2 little things I reckon would make me, try and play a bit differently as I did last season, because it caught up to me, and it really did hurt. So, a bit of an update here. DR's lost his Wi-Fi. Looked like he lost his power and the whole system, because his screen went dark and he froze up, and then it was just curtains for the great man. But this is where I come in, people. I'm here to pick up what he put down. So I'll try my best here. I think I've only got a couple of questions here. Anyway. Barnaby, hey guys, I've currently got Matt Roberts in my team. Thoughts? So, yeah, we did allude to him before. Janeth, super hot on him. What a month of footy he played, particularly late last year. It was just unbelievable. He dominated. I like to really get a look at him over round 0. He's not in my team. It's a really awkward price, because that like mid 400s. Yeah, as I said, he's basically the Oliver of the back line. So you're picking him to be a keeper, or worst case scenario, a D7. It's a bit awkward for me. I want to get a look at him and see if he can back it up. But he's got a super left peg on him. He's unreal. So I'm all for it. Not in my team, but I wouldn't blame anyone for going there. I think he's great. It's just a bit awkward. Does have that bye. Will be a pod, so it's a bit of a Will Day, Will Ashcroft sort of vibe to it. And then what do you got here? H again, loves it. So thoughts on fading Jason Horne-Francis? DR, you can answer that one. Welcome back. I've been man the fort for you. I've really tried.
You're a good man.
I'm not as smooth as you, but
mate, you are
to pick up the pace here.
Much smoother than an old man like me, mate. I heard my son just swear it off and just went bang. So we lost some power for literally a second and a half, I think. He's spewing because he's playing 2K or something like that, and he's not a happy man. It was competitive mode or something. So apologies, everyone. Now, I don't know. Where were we, Spills? Our thoughts on fading.
H has gone thoughts on fading Jason Horne-Francis. I don't hate it, just based off the stats I saw from George and that bullshit game he had against Melbourne, where it was just a stoppage fest and he sort of went like 140 or whatever. I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea of dropping him down to another rookie, because we're going to get a lot of them in the forward line, and then maybe moving a Coleman to a Sam Flanders or something. If you can do that, or a Ryan, I don't hate the idea of doing that. So he's no lock in my team by any means, but he's there. He's definitely there.
Sorry, I've shared the wrong screen, mate. It was meant to be my.
And then I don't really like cheese. Yeah. I try my best, mate. Look, bit hard to plan for it, because I wasn't expecting to really. It's a bit hard when you host by yourself, because you got no one to bounce off. So you kind of just got to be perfect. You got to give the kudos to Dwayne in Dwayne's world, because he just does it all by himself all day. You've got to be so smooth. So I tried, mate. That's the main thing. That's all you can really do.
I love it, mate. Love it. You're a good man. Thanks, Spills. Your thoughts on Matt Roberts. How about you, DR? Yeah, I went through it earlier, mate, and I've done a fair write-up about him. lots of pros, lots of cons, but it's all about the role, mate. So one big thing to take into account last year is that he really started to score well and really get back into that role when McInerney was out of the side. So that's going to be a big factor. That's going to be a huge factor.
That's a good point.
What will happen with Mills? Is he going to play down back? They've got the Lizard Blakey as well, who obviously runs off his head. One of the most entertaining players to watch and loves to get the run and carry going there. So I just think there are a few potential dangerous players back there for Sydney. But that piece of the puzzle is going to determine a lot of our Supercoach sides, I think. What happens with Mills, Roberts, yeah, I can't tell you at the moment. But look, Janeth's got him, which means
lucky they've got round 0 because you get to look at it. You got to look
That's it. Yeah,
really important.
Round 0 is going to play a huge part in that. You'd think that that's a structure they're going to go with. I've heard that Dean Cox really likes him, but a bit of guesswork. But looking at the numbers, mate, if he's in the same role as what he was for the last 6-7 rounds of the season last year, then he should be a fantastic pick. How confident are you? That's a question you've got to ask yourself, I think, buddy. Horn Francis, I'm worried about the round 12 bye is the issue. Yeah, it's a tough one, mate. Like I was saying with Butters before, you don't have to start these type of blokes, but you can pretty much lock him in for a top 6 average, I think. And lots of people are saying, well, let's just start with him. At least we've got one premium already locked in there. But I'm more than happy to fade him at the moment.
There's been a method behind the madness for not actually locking him in.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Rookies coming through. I think Marek is playing a bit of defense too, so he could be another one.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Bank some coin and make moves elsewhere.
Very interesting, mate. Lucas, thoughts on Powell-Pepper? Look, personally, mate, we've got a lot of rookies around that 180k, particularly in our midfields. I know he's a forward type player. Is he that sub candidate? I want to know what their setup's looking like. I'm assuming he's going to play more of a forward type role, a pressure type role. At the moment, no. You've got probably Tom Lynch, who I'm maybe preferring just because I know he's not going to be the sub. Well, you wouldn't think so anyway. And I'm hoping just for maybe an early bag just to get his price going. But yeah, Powell-Pepper could be a decent selection, but probably got a few rookies ahead of him at the moment. Probably go like a Davidson if he's playing. You got your Elijah Hewitts there as well, your Kakos, who should get a game. But again, is he going to be a sub risk? I don't know. Thoughts on Powell-Pepper, Spilsy? You got anything to say about the big man?
I'm not keen on Powell-Pepper. I'm not really a massive fan of him. But what I'm a massive fan of, DR, is Lucas's logo there. It's a very great looking logo. I like what you've done there with the
logo,
and the green.
Very nice, mate. Very nice.
Familiar, but it's good to see that great minds think alike. So,
very good, mate.
Love your work there, Lucas. Looking fresh, mate.
I know the cheese says they stitched this up for the round 12. Boy, even.
Yeah,
they did. There's always that bias. It's like being born in Grundy, where you just they'll your R1 and their R2. It's like, damn, it seems like always they had the same buy, the R1 and the R2. Frustrating. But that round 12 is a little bit tricky, and I'm actually starting to pay attention to it a lot more. At the start, I'll be honest, I was just paying attention to the early season buys, but I did a video, I can't really mention it because it's not out at the moment, with another legend on his channel. It was just all about buy strategy. And with preparation from a research for that video, I took a closer look at those later buys, and that round 12 is an absolute killer. So I'm contemplating moving a couple of pieces to compensate for that. Barnaby, I'm currently antipoding JHF.
A lot of people are.
Don't think so, because I am as well. Jace?
Yeah.
I'm antipoding him as well.
How many more? We got DR. We must be close now.
We have. Spilsy, we got 2 more, and it's 7:15. I'm going to have 15 minutes to work out
if Darren Armstrong's things up, mate. We'll smash these out. Blokes.
That's it, mate. All right. Looking at my team last season from BMC 33, hey, brother, as many rooks off the field as priority for me this season. Looks more of a sub-risk durability risk with those bigger bodies. Keep rooks on the bench. Absolutely, mate. And I think that's when some of that mid-price madness comes into play. At least you can afford to not have maybe 2 extra rookies on field. compared to that mid-price structure. So, yeah, that's where the mid-price picks really come in. And I absolutely agree with you, because what's our overall aim in Supercoach? It's to get the rookies off field and replace them with premium. So the less rookies you have on field, hopefully the better scores that you're going to get. But the rookies are where you get your cash gen. So definitely needs to balance it out, mate.
Yeah.
And last one, Spilsy, I can see here, mate, is from Tommy Murray. G'day, Tomo. Top 3 early buy premiums you might have your eye on. Top 3 early buy premiums. Well, it was Dacos, not too much anymore. I still don't.
I need to recap, DR, because I don't have that in front of me. I don't even know off by heart who has that buy.
Oh, geez. So you got like Essendon, Hawthorn, Brisbane.
Oh, okay, that's what he means. Yeah, I thought he.
So the
I
early
thought he
buys,
meant buy
3 early buy premiums you got your eye on.
Yeah, Josh Dunkley, no tags.
Josh
Right,
Dunkley.
always bring him up. He's boring.
Good
He's
call.
doesn't have a high ceiling, doesn't have a low floor, but he's just honest as days long type operator. Like, you know, you're going to get from him.
Yeah, that's fair, mate.
Too, so he's one, like Zach Merritt as well. There's a lot.
Yeah. Don't mind Lockie Whitfield.
Lockie Whitfield in defence, yeah. So
yeah.
Tom Green.
Yeah, Tom Green, good call. Yeah. There are some tempting options. Yeah, absolutely. Then the mid prices, your Ashcroft and your Will Days, you chuck into that mix.
Even Heaney, if you can. We spoke about Heaney before, but if Isaac Heaney can drop a bit in price, you know, he's one as well, because he's top 5 mid and gets overlooked. So
yeah, you think so, wouldn't you, mate? Absolutely.
Options, man.
Yeah. And last one here is from I don't really like cheese. Good man to win with Spills. Got a next live planned, boys, or just whenever. To be honest, mate, about half an hour before this, I gave Spillsy a call. He just literally just finished work and said, mate, look, it's 2025. The actual Supercoach is actually out to the public here. We haven't put a video out as of yet, because we've obviously been working so hard on the guide, and I've got all these DMs, mate, that I haven't been able to get to. Do you want to go live for an hour or so, just so we can say g'day to everyone for the first time in 2025? Or not for the first time in 2025, for the first time since the official opening, and just try to answer some questions. So nothing planned at this stage, mate, but we will get together in the next week and start to work that out. But for anyone that hasn't heard about the season guide yet, we're really trying to do a better version of the AFL prospectus. All these blokes that you see on the screen here, from George to the Skodfather, to the boys from Dr. Supercoach, our man Shorty, some of the best minds on Twitter there. Everyone's involved in this. So it is available for pre-order on supercoachswordplay.com. You can see the table of contents there. I'll fit this onto 2 slides. Spills, there are now 7 extra things that we've added to the contents page since I put out the video, mate. Team previews, numbers, and data.
Too much data.
Hey,
it's just
there's
crazy.
Lombard, for who was asking about him before. Look at those Coates League and VFL games. Not a great average here, mate, which is what I was saying before. Also mentioning those popular head-to-heads. There's a Sarong versus Brayshaw one that's blurred out, but there's the art by our man AFL Doodles who was on before. We've got captain stuff, how to use your trade boost, flex strategy, Supercoach lingo, pre-order, supercoachswordplay.com if you are interested. $20. Spills, it's less than a chup per week, mate. You get this as a pre-season guide, and we do update this in season as well. So if you are available or interested in pre-ordering, feel free to do that. It is 100% digital, and you can pre-order now, and it should be available mid-Feb. It's a pyramid of priority. Spilsy, thank you very much, mate, for joining me again. I'm going to get straight into these NBL trades, mate. So usually we have a chat for another 2 hours after these lives. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you there, brother, because Armstrong, you don't know who these men are. They're foreign to you, but they're very important.
No idea. I don't even know the rules. I just got no idea. So
mate, I tell you,
it's a good time to wrap it up.
It's a fun game. It does your head in at times, so I've learned a lot there. Oh, my
man's really low. Why is the scoring so low in NBA?
Oh, it's just 1 point for rebounds, 1 point for a point. It's it's not huge, but you get the double games like the BBL, so it's all fixture related, mate. And that's one thing I've learned. So Skits, loving your work as well, mate. You can catch this. I think it automatically uploads to YouTube anyway, man. So you can catch all that sort of stuff, mate. Here's my brother Chica. What's going on? Yeah, lads. On your Spilsy,
He's a
He's a
great
big
man.
fan of Swanee. He's a Brisbane Lions man, but just loves his Dane Swan. Loves the looseness of.
I love Swanee too. I absolutely love him. He's such a great character. We're still watching his content. Good potty.
I don't know if I've told you, Spills, this is not a live stream story, but have I told you some of my personal gatherings with Swanee?
I don't reckon you have. This might be a call for another night.
The next time, mate. The next time, I'll fill you in on a few.
Sounds good. I look forward to that.
A few decent nights, put it that way. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us again. It is always a pleasure. Spilsy, thank you very much again. Apologies for dropping out there for, what was it, around 5 minutes? You held the fort down well, mate. You held the fort down well. And
we'll look after each other.
One of the next videos, Spilsy, I'm looking forward to this one, Janeth's team reveal. So very much looking forward to that. Then we're getting into all 18 team previews with special guests. We'll go line by line. Then we're going to get into the preseason sword play potty spills. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
The big one.
Our first potty, all four of us going to be together. Myself, obviously you, Roscoe, as well as Janet, the professor. So going to be a mad season, brother. Pumped, looking forward to it. And Barnaby's just shouting out the old Relton Roberts. That's a classic. Barnaby must have been playing for a while. And good luck in the BBL. DR, thank you very much, Cheese. Much love to you, brother. All the best, guys. Thanks, Billsy.
Thank you,
soon, brother. See you, man.
Care. Bye.